I don't know what that was. The guitar made me do it. Regardless, greetings. Namaste, Monsoon Biswakarma here. Right now, bringing you this wonderful jet guitar. It's evidently tele style. This is the third guitar that we have brought here in the studio for review. And again, like it might be, it might sound like this is something I keep saying about these guitars, but they are impressive. So this too is definitely in that line of impressiveness. This is the third guitar. We checked Strat style, we checked this Jazz Master shaped guitar, and now this Tele. So without further ado, let's see what the guitar packs up in terms of specs. Heading to the Jet Guitar website itself. The official name is Jet JT-350 BKR. BK probably standing for black and R for the rosewood. SH classic tone with modern feel. Definitely felt like that. The machine heads, chrome locking tuners. These locking tuners are Jet branded locking tuners. Probably it will pop up in the pictures. And the neck shape is modern C shape, which was consistent with the previous two Jet guitars. The fretboard is a rosewood fretboard. Uh, the neck radius, the fretboard radius is 9.5 inches, knot width is 1.65 inches. The knot, again, pretty nice to have bone knot, and it's well cut, it's nicely fit, so it does not stick out when you are playing. The cross rod is double action. The scale length is 25.5 inches, number of frets 22. The body is basswood body, which again something I really enjoy, the basswood body. The pickups, Alnico, single coil and humbucker. This humbucker here is splittable, and probably you must have noticed when I played it while the video came in. And the hardware, the bridge itself is a Wilkinson bridge, which is pretty nice feeling. It's very comfortable to rest your hands on, and I don't know what this material is, but I really like it. Like, it's smooth and it feels like a tele bridge should. The color, as you can see, it's black, and as of this moment when we are filming this review, the price on the website itself is 352 euros. You can also check it out on the website itself. So yeah, let's talk some about this guitar. So personally, the more I play it, I feel like I kind of felt like the Jazzmaster Jet is what I would really love, because again, you fall in love with things that you see, and I'm pretty huge into weird shaped guitars and offset guitars. So when these shipment of when this shipment of jet was arriving in deep music, I really felt like I would connect with the jazz master more than anything else. But I must say, this is the most simple looking guitar that I've tried from Jet so far, and this is also the most impressive. I feel like this is the Jet guitar that I would not want to let go from the studio, because although the pickup combination here looks a bit uh, weird, not it might not be weird for people who have tried this, and for people whose mainstay is this kind of setup where the humbucker is on the neck and single coil is on the bridge. But for me, this is not a regular thing. I'm mostly two humbuckers kind of guy, and whenever I'm using single pickups, it's on a Strat or a Tele, and most of the time both are single coils. But on this one, what happens is you get this very uh, vintage sounding humbucker. Let's switch off the delay. Sorry, vintage sounding single coil. It definitely sounds like something from 70s or 80s. I don't know if you can hear what I hear. But it's quite ballsy sounding, and it has all the tele kind of treble that you expect from these kind of guitars. And on the neck, since there's this full humbucker, what you get is a very woofy low end sound. It's very boomy compared to the one more time. When you go from bridge to the neck, the bridge is more open sounding, and the neck very woolly and dark, and it has its character on the darker side. But what you can do is split it. The pickup itself still stays dark, but you definitely get a little more jangle in the sound, which is more balanced, I guess, when you're using with the single coil on the bridge. On the middle. So the sounds that you're hearing right now is from the Quad Cortex. The kind of setup that we have gone to this time is an AC30 kind of amp, which we have paired with a 212 cabinet. The cabinet is a Celestian greenback kind of cabinet that we have here, and there's a little bit of reverb, a little bit of delay put behind the amp. And on the front, what we have is a compressor, and this amp has two modes. What you heard right on the start was the cool, and the other is the hot. Now let's hear some more sounds. Switch on the delay. Reduce the mix a bit. So there's adequate amount of sustain, there's adequate amount of attack, there's adequate amount of character in this guitar. And just like I said, man, like I don't know where to point a fault on this one. And my friends here will agree with me. Right when this guitar came and we plugged it into the amp, the one thing that we felt was this is a very useful studio tool. No surprise that a lot of session players gravitate towards tele style guitars because it does it all. Like hang it in with your country kind of playing to it, you do your metal, and even when you're doing your more high gain stuff with a tele, what ends up happening is there's this sound that comes, which feels to me like you're choking the pickup itself when that drive is coming through, and I really like it. It sounds stressy, but it sounds nice. So without further ado, again, let's go to some high gain sounds. Now, for the amp, we have an EVH EL34 kind of amp, and for the cabinet, we have a Zilla 412. And the mix on the on the delay is pretty minimum. It's 15%, and we have a utility gate switched on. I'll show you one cool thing when we roll off the volume on a high gain, but that's for later. So yeah, now really notice what happens, and the brace pickup, the separation is really nice, and but at the same time, the kind of high gain that you want, the high gain comes through, but it sort of feels like you're choking on it, which is again, I really like it. Let's hear it. So yeah, if you heard it, pretty gnarly. And when you do thrash stuff with that, with this pickup, it's really something. And what I'd use it for is I'm usually a humbucker guy, and the most tracks that I record in the studio, I usually work with multiple layers. And whenever I'm recording my riffs, I do the main thing with my humbuckers. And what I usually prefer is to give that snap on the riff, and to give that high end on the riff. What I do is layer it with a tele style guitar, which my other guitar player has, and it really works out well. And for the same purposes, I think this guitar is a really, really good studio equipment. And you can always take it up live, no complaints whatsoever. The only complaint, if I had to put it, would be the fretboard on this thing is a little rough. Nothing a touch of lemon oil and a good amount of playing wouldn't solve. But yeah, that's one thing if I had to point out. And now, the interesting thing, when you have the threshold around at 60%, and you got attack at full, and then you also have a compressor. But now let's reduce the volume. So what you end up getting is it's almost like you are rolling off the volume when you're playing, but without rolling off the volume. Let's also hear how the tone functions. That was the tone fully rolled off on the bridge. Let's do the same thing on the middle pickup. The sustain is there and it's amazing. The only thing that I had a difficult time with was the fretboard, and this is a 10 gauge. I usually play on 11s, so it keeps slipping. But other than that, I don't find any gripe with this instrument. And would I recommend this to you? Definitely. And within all the three guitars, including this one, if I had to pick one for myself, this would be it. And right now, to be honest, I'm having a pretty hard time letting this go from the studio to deep music. So yeah, that's the JT-350 in black. Pretty cool instrument. You don't have a backplate over here, and the string goes through the back, and you can see the seams through the paint. It seems like a three-piece body, and the neck is done pretty well. Just like I mentioned on the earlier videos, what Z does really good is they pay a good amount of time and their skills on the neck, so the neck ends up being pretty good. If you're a first time player, you will love this guitar. If you're an intermediate player, if you're a professional player, this will definitely be a good addition to your arsenal, be it in the studio or at live. So I like it. I hope you do too. And I really like how dressy this bridge single coil sounds. hear the same thing on the neck. And to the friends who are watching who are into uh, shoegaze music and who are into stoner rock, I think this neck pickup is really boomy and supports that kind of playing. The middle sounds pretty nasally, and even on this level of high gain, when you roll off the volume, it does not quite clean off, but because the gain on this thing is pretty high, but you can definitely sense the dynamic range of the pickup. So yeah, all in all, thumbs up again to Jet Guitars. I've been feeling pretty nice with trying their guitars, and I look forward to more. So yeah, until next time, this has been Jet Guitar. I've been Monsoon, and you've been great. See you when I see you. And one more thing, if I had to rate this guitar, since we rated the previous two guitars, I'd rate this 8.5. 0.5 extra because right now I don't feel the urge to swipe out the pickups right out. And now on the hindsight that I've checked all three guitars from Jet, the Strat, the Jazzmaster style, and this one, I think when you consider that I felt like I would need to change pickups on those earlier guitars, so you would pretty much rate it. I rated it 8, but that did not account for the change in pickups. So, like, take the 0.5 out of it, like 7.5, which is still good. And this one, like, it's easy 8.5. I could live with these pickups, let's say, for maybe 1 to 2 years until I hit that ceiling where I feel like I have had a pretty good amount of experimentations done with these pickups that I feel the need to change it. Other than that, this guitar is pretty amazing. And just like I said before, this is the guitar so far that I personally feel like not letting go from the studio, Like, I have tons of applications in my head that I for sure know that I can put through with this one. So yeah, amazing paint job as always. Good finish here, and you get this with a soft shell case, which is pretty good. And we have shown it on the previous videos. Right now, it's pretty far to reach, so I'm not reaching it out. Hope you guys don't mind it. But yeah, again, kudos to Jet Guitars. I really love them. I'm loving them, and looking forward to more. From on this one, the Alnico pickups really work well for me, which again I'm used to Alnico magnets rather than ceramics, so it might be one reason uh, why I'm not feeling like I need to swipe out the pickups. So yeah, Monsoon out.